It's time for Success in Real Estate with Frankie Griffin, owner and broker in charge of the Palmetto Success Team, certified residential specialist, accredited buyer representative, military relocation professional, real estate appraiser, and author of Success in Real Estate. If you are interested in buying or selling a home, investing in real estate, or having your home appraised, you will enjoy Success in Real Estate. Now, here's Frankie Griffin.
All right, good morning, everybody. Welcome to Success in Real Estate. I am Frankie Griffin, and I've got a topic today I think a lot of people are having issues with. So we want to get this bad boy resolved today with a solution. And what we're starting to see, this has been a problem for a long time. And I've got a buddy of mine that I think's got a solution for it. But if you've ever had a home built, brand new home, and then close on the deal, move into the house, and then find problems, either in some cases could be code violations, but things are just not fixed properly, we're having all kind of issues, and then getting the builder to come back out and fix these problems, that's the issue I'm starting to see a lot of homeowners have. Well, I think we're going to have a solution for that today. But right now, on the phone line with me is a good friend of mine, Billy Aycock, owns Aycock Construction. And how you doing, Billy?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me.
Awesome. And I thank you for calling in because you were telling me about a relatively new part of your company, I guess, you actually started. But now, let's go ahead and make sure everybody understands who you are and your background. But you are a building contractor.
Yes, sir.
You build homes around the Midlands, all over the place for that matter. But you've been doing this for how long now?
I've been a residential builder for 13 years and actually been in commercial about 7 years prior to that. So been in the construction business for around 20 years now.
Okay. Well, and I assume you heard the opening of the show, but am I right about the problems a lot of homeowners are experiencing getting builders to come back out after closing?
There are several, of course, not as many, thank goodness, not as many bad contractors or people that won't come back and do these repairs than good. But a friend of mine...
Billy, you're cutting out on me. Are you on a cell phone?
I am. Do I need to call back on a hard line?
Well, you're fine right now. Just don't move. Stand still. But I'm sorry. Go ahead and finish what you were saying.
Okay. A friend of mine and I, he's also a licensed residential builder. We opened this company a short time ago, basically to help these people. We were receiving calls from people who basically needed help in getting things resolved in their homes that they couldn't get their builder to take care of. We were glad to help. We ended up developing this company, forming it, filing all our paperwork, and getting set up. And we've
now, what's the name of your company, Bill?
This company is Carolina Home Investigations LLC.
And now this is different than home inspections. This is a home investigation.
That's right. Yes. So we actually don't do any home inspections. I actually refer all those out. We do more or less home investigations for people who have more, I guess, severe issues, code violations, things of that nature.
Now, now you come out and inspect. I guess you write up the problems or things you find, and do you actually cite what code was violated?
Yes, sir. We'll come out and do a report. We do some things that were renovations in homes. Some of them are new houses. Some of them are houses that existed for a year or two that people, bought. And most of these people are honestly just aggravated because they can't get somebody to come out and touch up a few things, is usually how it starts, or replace a couple of things, or repair something. Mm-hmm. When I come in, we actually do a complete investigation of the house as far as checking from the footing up. We found things from concrete footings missing to overspan structures like ceiling joist, rafters not being braced, just different various code violations and manufacturer recommendations not being met.
Now, how does this result in getting my problems fixed? So you come out and do the investigation, you write up a report, then what?
We simply aid the client, the home buyer, whoever they may be, in reporting these issues. First, what we do is we help them draft up a legal letter giving that contractor a right to cure, which is state law in South Carolina here. Hopefully they respond to that, and hopefully they come out and make the necessary repairs. Sometimes they don't, and when they don't, there are other steps that you can take to kind of force their hand on that, and we have a great success. We usually get settlements for our clients. Most of the time we do. Every now and then you'll have one that comes out and actually does the repairs, and that's good. That's what you actually want to see. You don't really want to see a builder take a hit, but you do want to see them take care of their client.
Well, once there's a report out there and with the code cited in terms of what violations are in place and need to be corrected, I mean, what more does a builder need than to see that and to get out there and get it fixed?
Well, it shouldn't take anything more than that, but believe it or not, it usually does. Usually you have to, like I say, go a step beyond that. Sometimes you may have to contact the local planning commission, file a complaint. Usually when it gets in their hands, they take over from there. I've had several times when I've met the building inspectors out on the job, showing them my report and going over all these issues with them, and citing the codes to them, kind of walking through with them.
Well, Billy, we've probably got about a minute left before we have to go to break. But I'm going to tell you, I mean, when somebody's spending this kind of as much money as they're spending on real estate to build a house, and then can't get it built properly, is so frustrating. So what you're doing is wonderful. I mean, I think that's a great thing. And how can we get in touch with you if any of the listeners may have a problem of this nature?
We've actually got a website up. It's carolinahi.net, or you can call us at 803-309-4574.
309, and what was the last one again?
4574.
4574.
Yes, sir.
And the website was carolinahi.net.
That's it.
Well, Billy, I can't thank you enough, and I tell you, I think you're going to be getting some calls on this one because there's a lot of this going on.
Yes, sir. Well, we're here to help.
Well, Billy, I hope you have a great day, buddy.
Thank you, sir.
All
You
right,
too.
take care.
And now, the Mortgage Update with Erica Hill West on Success in Real Estate.
But right now, again, we do have Erica on the line. And Erica, how you doing today?
I'm doing well, Frankie. It's Friday.
Oh, awesome. Yep. Somebody, in fact, I heard right before we came on the air, somebody coming down the hall said just 2 more days till Monday.
Oh, yeah.
That was a little different, so I thought I'd throw it in there. But
Yeah, that
anyway.
is a little different.
Yeah. Erica is our mortgage consultant, and I believe an absolute expert when it comes to financing and any kind of money issues. In fact, you actually stopped by our Real Estate School for Success yesterday and spoke to the students about this, didn't you?
I did, and they were such a lovely crowd. Very energetic, lots of questions. The time flew by. I couldn't believe that I could yap for an hour.
Well, I'm just curious because I wasn't in the classroom at the time, or wasn't teaching that class, but what kind of questions are those students, when I say students, those seeking to get their real estate license, what kind of questions are they asking and concerned about just getting into real estate?
Specifically, they were asking a lot about the difference between pre-qualification and pre-approval.
You know, that's an excellent question because a lot of people have a problem with that.
And I get that a lot. And I tell them they're used interchangeably, but they have 2 different meanings. Pre-qualification is basically when a mortgage professional pulls a prospective buyer's client, and based on the information provided to the mortgage professional from the prospective buyer and their credit report, they appear to meet program guidelines and qualify for a certain amount. It is a first step. However, if any documentation that comes in differs from the information that was provided at the initial conversation, it could have an effect on the amount they're qualified for, if they're qualified. There are a lot of things that can come up on documents that necessarily aren't disclosed during the first initial conversation. And, I mean, I gave some great examples yesterday. If you ask somebody if they're obligated to pay or receive any child support or alimony and they say no, that could, and if they do, it's going to most likely appear on their taxes or their pay stub. And if it's a hefty amount, that can affect if they qualify for the amount that they are writing an offer on, or what they can purchase, or if they can purchase at all.
Right, yeah.
So that's a huge thing. Another thing is I find that people don't really know if they're paid hourly or salary, and if they're paid hourly, they don't know their exact hourly rate. So
really,
while they may be providing the information and not giving us the correct information, they're not necessarily doing it on purpose.
Yeah, I usually try to keep up with how much I'm getting paid. And
I do too. I really do. And I told them, I said, a good rule of thumb is if people don't know how much they're making, I can almost guarantee they don't know what they're obligated to pay or what's going out. If you don't know what's coming in, you most likely don't know what's going out, how much money you're spending.
You're right.
What you're obligated to pay. So not all the time, but a lot of the time.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly dollar for dollar what I make every month because my payment varies, but I know.
Well, Eric, let me ask you this question, because this is something I was actually talking to someone about earlier in the week, and it was dealing with the credit. Sometimes we have some credit things we got to work out before we can actually qualify for a loan, and you do a great job of explaining some credit stuff, but am I right, and I can't remember if I heard you say this at some point or not, but if you owe money, did I hear you say if you have medical bills, to worry about that last?
Yes.
Okay, and now what happens because I've got the person I was talking to had some medical bills, hasn't been paying on it, and then it was turned over to collections.
Yep.
So now what?
Every lender is going to have a little bit of a different take on medical collections. For us, we underwrite to DU findings, which DU is just an automated underwriting system that every file has to go through before it's actually looked at by an underwriter, and you have to most likely receive an approval through that system. And it will tell you what collections they want paid off. Typically, medical or DU is excluded, especially with our company, because it's not credit that you failed to pay on. It's a service that you received.
Right.
So it's looked at a little bit differently than not paying your rent and your rent going into collection in an apartment complex or a landlord placing past due amounts in collection, or not paying your Verizon bill, or not paying. It's looked at a little bit differently because it's a service that you received that you were unable to pay for instead of credit that you applied for that you defaulted on.
Well, that makes sense. So you're telling me as long as it's collections due to hospital bills or something, then there's a good chance I can still get a loan.
Yes.
Okay, awesome. I always thought once there was the collections on your record, until it was cleared up, you can forget about getting any more money.
Well, if it's stuff like an apartment complex, past credit card, a boat, a car, those types of things they're going to want cleared up. But typically medical, unless it's excessive medical, and usually people that have excessive medical bills, $20,000, $30,000, $40,000, they haven't reestablished credit to have qualifying credit anymore.
Okay. Well, Erica, I tell you, I can't thank you enough for calling. Excuse me, for calling in. You're always a wealth of knowledge, and you got a lot of information on your Facebook page, don't you?
I do. If you go to Facebook and you search for the Mortgage Go-To Gal, please go there and like my page. And if you have anything that you have questions about or you would like to know more about, send me a message and we'd be happy to get that information up there. But there's typically information about what's going on in the market, what are rates doing, projected sales. There's even information about, tips to sell your house, when to sell your house, all sorts of stuff on there.
And Eric, you know what? I did have in a little bit of time we got left. I want to see if you can hit on this, because this is something I keep getting questions about. I assume we can still. Well, I won't assume. Is there still a good chance I could get a loan today for under 4% interest?
Yes.
Awesome. Now here's the question I really wanted you to take about 30 seconds or maybe a minute to try to answer. What's the difference? Is it possible to pay a higher interest on a loan and it be a cheaper loan than, say, another loan with a lower interest?
Yes.
That's the key. And what I keep trying to tell people they need to question and look into is not just the interest rate, but what's the APR? And if you could explain to what is that APR?
Your APR is your annual percentage rate. It's a figure that looks at the entire cost of the loan, regardless on what is being financed in, what is being paid at closing for closing costs, prepaids, escrow. It takes all of those estimates and your loan amount amortized over 30 years, and it's giving you an annual percentage rate. What is the percentage that this loan is going to cost you year to year based on the total cost of the loan? And it's the easiest way to tell what is a cheaper loan.
Yep.
Especially if you're comparing lender to lender, and they both have the same interest rate. If one has an APR of 4.875 and one has an APR of 5.125,
yeah.
the 4.875 is going to be your cheaper loan.
Even though it may have a higher interest.
Yes.
And the interest is typically tax deductible anyway. So, but anyway, and we're about to run out of time, Eric, and that's why I'm trying to rush through this.
No problem.
But, it's a great. So anyway, the point I want to make sure our listeners understand: make sure when you're comparing loans, you compare the APRs, not the interest rates, and that's the big thing. But real quick, what's your phone number? How can we get in touch with you, Eric?
You can reach me on my cell at 803-528-5019.
Awesome.
You can email me at ewest@mortgagenetwork.com, or you can go to Facebook, go to the Mortgage Go-To Gal.
You're the best. I hope you have a great weekend.
You too.
All righty. Bye-bye. Again, if you missed any of that information, just go to our website, www.frankiegriffin.com. You'll see all our real estate partners right there.
Now, the real estate horror story with Andy on Success in Real Estate.
It is time for our horror story with our resident attorney, Andy On, with On & McKay Law Firm. And I do want to just mention, for those that may have missed the show last week, Andy On is opening up another office in Lexington. He's going to be at 203 West Main Street in Lexington, and he's got a grand opening. Now, I believe it's going to be this Thursday at starting at 5 o'clock. So Thursday, April the 3rd at 5 p.m. And I hope I got all that information right. But Andy, you with me?
Sure did.
Well, awesome. But what kind of horror you got for us today?
We got one thing that we're dealing with, frequently here lately. In fact, Gail just came in my office to share. For some reason, the Harry deals, continue to gravitate to my office.
Yeah.
But mobile homes.
Uh-oh.
Mobile homes create an awful lot of issues with a real estate closing. Typically, for a mobile home to be able to be considered real property, and therefore to have a loan made on a piece of property on which a mobile home sits, that mobile home has to be detitled. A mobile home is considered personal property.
Right.
Okay, it's just like your car. But if it meets certain requirements, it can be detitled, okay, and made part of the actual real estate, so that it is taxed as one parcel, taxed as one piece of real property, and therefore a mortgage can be put on that property, and therefore the value of the mobile home can be taken into consideration in the underwriting on the loan. Well, the problem is that, oftentimes these mobile homes come with an awful lot of sordid history to them. We've got one right now that, quite honestly, the appraiser did not pick up on the fact that this was a mobile home on this piece of property.
Really?
Because there were so many additions made to the piece of property. The mobile home is on a concrete block foundation, so you'd think that it would meet, the requirements for whatever the necessary underpinnings would be so that we could detitle the property. And quite honestly, the county has considered the property, it has taxed the property as one. But we've got an issue being raised by the lender right now, that's creating a problem with the loan, because the lender is saying that, they understand that this is a mobile home. They understand that there's no evidence that it has been detitled, but no one can find the serial number, okay, on the mobile home, because the tags with the serial number on them have been removed. This is a 1971 mobile home, and it's created issues that just weren't anticipated. So we're going to have to, try to figure out a way to work around these issues. So I say all that to say this. If you're buying a piece of property that a mobile home exists on, even if that mobile home has been improved, there's decking off of it, there are concrete underpinnings, whatever the case may be, you need to bring that to everyone's attention with immediacy, because what that will do is it puts it on a different path. It puts it on a path of the closing attorney, particularly in our case. We're having to really track down, because there's a certain protocol on deals where mobile homes are involved, because we have to go through the detitling process so that you can make sure that the property is, assessed as one parcel and therefore can be taken into consideration as one parcel on the loan underwriting and everything else. And it's typically a requirement under the loan. But there are a lot of great pieces of property out there, lakefront pieces of property that have mobile homes on them, and folks just don't consider that that's going to be dealt with any differently. And all of a sudden, we get on the eve of closing, like we were, on this one, and some of these issues, finally rear their head whenever we start looking at title work and we start, talking with folks involved in the process. So it's just so important that when you are purchasing a piece of property, if there's a mobile home involved, or if there is something that appears to be a mobile home involved, make sure that your real estate agent knows that, make sure that your closing attorney knows that, make sure that whatever information needs to be put into the process is put into the process so that this issue can be dealt with before you run into any problems with contract deadlines or rate lock expirations or anything like that. Because we, quite honestly, in this one, we would not have picked up on anything had the lender not raised the issue, because it was noted in the home inspection. I mean, that's how obscure, or maybe I should rephrase it. That's how good a job they did to essentially improving this mobile home. It looks like a real home.
But it's being taxed as real,
and it's being
personal?
taxed. No, and it's being taxed as a real home. The county has considered it a real home, but because the lender picked up on this issue from the home inspection, they are now requiring that there be evidence of detitling, and now this is an issue we've got to deal with. So it's just it wasn't even picked up on by the appraiser.
Yeah.
So it's just one of these situations. If you know that there's a mobile home on there, if it appears to be a mobile home, and I think you know it when you see it,
yeah.
You need to bring that to everybody's attention, because these can cause an awful lot of issues. If we know, if we know up, and we'll be able to resolve this one in all likelihood, but if we know up front, we can resolve those issues relatively quickly. There is some turnaround time that's required with the DMV on some of this stuff, but we've got it down to a science here, and it's really it's pretty smooth going once we know the issue.
Well, you've got a great staff there, Andy.
And I've got an A+ staff. I've got an A+ staff. Gail Puckett has been with me. I think she's been with me close to 8 years now,
awesome.
if I'm not mistaken. Maybe longer than that. And then Leanne Boyer is one of our new closers back there. And I'm telling you, both of these ladies are just top in their profession.
They
had
keep me
somebody try to steal Gail from me, but that's about a every 2-week battle, because she's just the best in the area,
Yep.
and she does a super job. So.
Well, Andy, we got about 30 seconds, but you do a lot of real estate, but you also do a lot of civil litigation. So how can people get in touch with you if we need some legal help?
Give us a call. We our number is 803-744-0824 on any issue relating to accidents, a personal injury, any death actions like that. We do a lot of that stuff, a lot more than we do real estate, but we do a lot of real estate too. So I'd love to help you in everything. And Frankie, we'll see you next Thursday.
All right, buddy. Hope you have a great weekend.
All right, pal. Thank you.
Take care. Again, that was Andy On with On & McKay Law Firm. Their main office is on Columbiana Drive, but they will be opening up a new, actually it's already opened, at 203 West Main Street in Lexington. Their grand opening will be Thursday, April 3rd at 5 p.m. If there's any way you can make that, love to see you there.
Here's Frankie Griffin with your weekly featured property on Success in Real Estate.
We do have a home it's in West Columbia in Quail Hollow. Very nice, well-maintained subdivision area to live. And you've got 4 bedrooms in this house. You've got 3 bathrooms. It's a roughly 2,500 square feet, I think it is. Very nice home in Quail Hollow for $190,000. And I think you're going to find, if you start looking at what other homes are priced at in this area, this is a very good deal for Quail Hollow. Would love to show you this house or talk to you about it. And in fact, if you have any questions or anything I can help you with, I'd love for you to contact me. The best way is probably just go to my website. There you'll find all my contact information, things about what I do, what I have to offer. But just go to www.frankiegriffin.com. Again, www.frankiegriffin.com. My email is there. My cell phone will be there. Information about what we do. Real estate news is there. In fact, if you ever want to listen to the show, the edited version anyway, which means commercial free, my buddy Jerry Bilton with Eagle Photography. Is it Eagle Photography? It does a phenomenal job. He records the show, videos the show each week, and usually by Tuesday of the following week we'll have the show on our website. So if you want to watch it, you can actually watch it. Promise you there's nothing pretty to see, but hopefully it'll help a little bit. But anyhow, I'd love for you to go to my website, check it out, frankiegriffin.com. And I want to give 2 things here I actually want to do in this last segment. One, I got a sales tip for those looking at selling their property. And the other is how to save energy, which equates to saving money on your electric bill. But my selling tip is simply this. If you're going to put your home on the market, whether you list it with an agent or try to sell it yourself by owner, you've got to make sure you have professional photography, professional-looking photos on for the property, because that's where buyers are looking today. It's phenomenal how much they are on the internet. They're on the websites. They're pulling up everything they can pull up, looking themselves to try to find homes for sale. And obviously, the very first thing they're going to be paying attention to are the photos. And if you've got your home listed, just for example, you're trying to sell it for $200,000, you better have something in that photo that looks like it's worth $200,000. That's what people are looking at. More times than not, they look at the picture and they decide, you know what, they're asking $200,000 for this. Are you kidding me? And it may very well be worth it, but there's nothing in the photos that make it look that way. I'm going to tell you, the best investment you're going to make is to have a professional come out. And when I say a professional, I mean a professional in real estate photography. And the person I will always recommend, again, is Jerry Bilton. Does a phenomenal job. He is a professional in real estate photography. He doesn't do weddings and he doesn't do a bunch of other stuff. He focuses on real estate. That's what he does. So he knows how to make sure every photo is properly staged, set up. The lighting is always perfect, and just does a great job. And if you would like to see what kind of work he does, certainly go to his website. Check it out. He's got a lot of his work on his website, and that's www.imagesbyeagle.com. Again, imagesbyeagle.com. You'll find there are all kinds of work that he's done, and I think you'll agree it's an incredible job. And if your home is listed right now with an agent, if you haven't done this, go online yourself and see if you can find your property for sale. For two reasons. One, if you can't find it yourself, there's a good chance no other buyer is going to find it either. So there's a trick to knowing how to market online. Well, I say a trick. It just takes some knowledge and know-how. It's not a trick. And then the next thing is look at the photos of your house. And then you answer for yourself. Are you satisfied with those photos? And if you were a buyer, would this intrigue you, or would you want to go look at that house? And I think that'll go a long ways in determining whether or not you need to have Jerry come out and take a look. He does a great job. Again, if you couldn't capture his information, again, just go to my website, frankiegriffin.com. I have a link there, Real Estate Partners, and you'll find Jerry, Andy On, Erica West, and many others. We got a lot of real estate partners that can help you with just about anything you need done concerning real estate. We can certainly help you out with that. All right. The other thing I want to do in the remaining 2 minutes, which is not much, I'm going to hit, and I'm going to go through real quick, but here's 10 ways to save on your electricity. I'm going to have to go through them kind of fast. Number one, set your hot water heater no higher than 120 degrees. Number two, set your thermostat at 68 degrees in the winter. And then if you're in the summertime, about 76 degrees. And I guess now, I don't know who came up with this, but 68 degrees, that's pretty chilly if I'm just sitting in my chair trying to watch TV, unless you got a fireplace or something. But anyway, then it said number four, don't forget to unplug stuff. It says 5 to 10% of your is used for stuff left plugged in, like your computers, coffee makers, lamps, phone chargers, and things like that. Even though they're not being used, just leaving them plugged in can actually drain some of your energy there. Let's see, we want to insulate areas is always a good thing. Make sure you change your air filters. I recommend monthly. It will help your unit last about 25% longer. And always have your HVAC cleaned and serviced at least twice a year, because that makes it run efficiently year-round. Carolina Conditions, my buddy Tim Mosley does a great job with that. But we're about out of time, and I can't thank you enough for being with us today. Again, if there's anything I can do to help you, please join me, call me. You'll find all my information on my website, www.frankiegriffin.com. Again, www.frankiegriffin.com. We'd love to help you with anything you need help for, whether it be buying a house, selling a house, or if you need to get your house appraised. Love to help you with that as well. We can certainly get out there and have it turned around, I'd say, within 48 hours at the latest. But anyway, we've had a great time. Hope you have a wonderful weekend. You've been listening to Success in Real Estate on The Point.